All right, all right, all right. What's happening, everybody? Honey Badger Nation. Man, honestly, just blows me away, but we are episode 77 of Expert Mentors Live coming at you today. Very excited for today's episode. We've got Mr. Zac Folsom on, and we're going to talk about the proper use of social media marketing to effectively capture buyers' attention. I'm sure you guys are going to have some questions, so throw them in the Q&A and chat if you're watching the replay on Facebook or wherever you might see this. Throw it into the comments section, tag myself or Zac, and we'll definitely answer any and all questions that you guys may have. So, Zac, say hello to the Honey Badger Nation.
What's up, Honey Badgers?
Man, it's pretty remarkable to throw. You've got everybody's attention when you can throw a Facebook post up, and the next thing you know, within like less than a week, you're on two different shows, talking about what your post was about. So kudos to you.
Oh, well, thanks. There's a lot of people out there right now that are doing the stuff that I'm doing, but I don't think that they're telling other people how to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's, I want to jump right in. I definitely have some questions and things for you. I know you're going to kind of walk through some stuff for folks. But before we jump into that, man, I think that's the cool thing about our Expert Mentors series is that it's really just a conversation and really diving in. I think my intent, my goal, as it is with every episode, and today's no different, is I want to get some key principles that people can take away, but also some key tactical things that people can take away right now to implement in. And I think the biggest thing that's on my mind when it comes to anything social media related, anything Facebook advertising, anything on Instagram, whatever we're doing on YouTube, any of the other platforms, LinkedIn, is that how can we make sure that we're being productive versus it just being a distraction? Mm-hmm. Speak to that a little bit, if you would. And then we'll I definitely want to give a little background on yourself as well. I think it's pretty interesting, but talk to me a little bit about that. How can we make sure that people are being productive versus allowing this to be a distraction?
Okay. So I think if you guys haven't read it yet, Gary Vee wrote a book, Jab, Jab, Right Hook. That's about getting your content into the medium in which you're presenting it, which I think is a very big thing. So Facebook specifically is a storytelling platform. You need to be able to captivate people with a story. You're scrolling through Facebook, all of a sudden you see this thing that's like, wow, the cat at the end does something crazy, right? Everybody's seen a video like that, and you're like, oh, damn it, I'm gonna watch this. Oh, I'm allowed to swear, right?
Okay, yes. Okay. This group.
Okay,
yes.
Good. Oh, damn it, I'm gonna have to watch this stupid cat video. Like everybody's done that. So it's getting to the point where when you're scrolling through Facebook, you know what type of content to expect. Everybody's seen Penny Hoarder. If you haven't seen Penny Hoarder, you're probably not doing enough finance research online. But you'll see a Penny Hoarder thing, and it's like, if you're one of these people, you need to make this money move. And sure enough, you're going to click on the ad. So it's getting to the medium of the people in order to make sure that your content's relevant, and making sure that I think it was Zig Ziglar, some big sales guy. You've got a donkey. You either whip the donkey or you give it a carrot. And in real estate, the carrot are pictures, in my opinion. So you don't want to give away too much carrot. You kind of want them. You want the people that are most interested to chase it. Would be my opinion with it.
Got it.
And I think one of the bullet points that I gave you was I never boost a post because when I'm posting to my captive audience, I'm doing an entirely different post than if I'm trying to get Facebook leads.
Get it. So we'll unpack that for everybody in just a second. I know we had a few more folks jumping in here with us. So give a little context, a little bit about yourself. You've been in real estate 5 years, got licensed when you were 19. So, jumping in feet first and figuring it out, give a little context over that time frame. And then, what led you into really exploring and really taking, the digital space, Facebook marketing on as a primary lead generation lead source for you?
So I originally started at a Remax, and then I joined a team at a Remax, and it was one of the higher producing teams at that Remax. I wasn't getting the leads that I necessarily wanted. I mean, I was making decent money, but I wasn't making real estate money. When you get into it, you want to make that. Then I switched over to another team, and we started spending, I think the max that I had was 150 Zillow leads a month at one point in time. And I was just baffled at how much business it was. And then Zillow started to keep picking up and picking up and picking up. We switched over to an independent brokerage from Keller Williams with that same team. And at one point in time, I think our budget was $30K a month between us and a lender splitting it. So our company was paying $15K a month in Zillow leads. And I'm like, I was just thinking to myself at the time, because I was helping run and manage the team, why are we spending so much money advertising stuff that we have the advertising? Like, why are we paying Zillow to get back leads from houses that we're already listing? Like, all they're doing is putting pictures up, waiting for people to fill out a form, and then selling it to agents for like a 500% markup. That's what was going through my head. I just kind of went to, I guess, the Amazon model of, you buy cheap, you put it up there, or drop shipping, I guess. You buy it super cheap, you put it up somewhere, and then somebody pays an outrageously high markup. So I started, once that team dissolved, I decided to really spend some time hunkering into why Facebook Medium's a good medium, what platforms on Facebook are really causing the success, and how to get leads from it for dirt cheap. I don't know. Did that answer pretty much everything?
I think that gives definitely gives some good context, for you. Just kind of high overview. You're in what, Kalamazoo is the marketplace. Give some context for those that don't know, kind of some demographics on the market. I want everybody to kind of get their head around, kind of the market and what you're working with.
So there's close to 1,000 agents on my board in Greater Kalamazoo. We work in surrounding cities too, because it's a little bit smaller. Average home price in Kalamazoo is like $180K. Up in Grand Rapids, it's closer to like $240, and I go up there sometimes. Battle Creek board has a couple, I think a pretty big following at EXP too. So it's not small town. I think the average population's like 80K, something like that in Kalamazoo, but it's mostly college. So we've got 3 colleges within, I don't know, like a 10-mile radius of Kalamazoo, which is pretty crazy. And 2 of them are right next to each other. They share a street, Western Michigan and Kalamazoo College. So
that's nice. So cool. So let's jump in, to really into the meat of today's episode and the content that you're wanting to really share and bring with everybody. I know one of the key bullet points, and you can start wherever you want, but you kind of mentioned that early on as, not boosting the post and chasing the carrot. Unpack that a little bit for everybody listening in so they can kind of wrap their head around, that thought.
Yeah. So I think the best first step is going to be going into the buyer mentality. So ask any buyer that you have what they do when they're looking at houses. All they care about is pictures. I'm not sure if you've ever posted something with one picture. I do it on Marketplace a lot, which, by the way, is a whole different topic. But if you ever want buyer leads, post one picture of a house on Marketplace, and people will message you and say, hey, are there more pictures of this house? That's just kind of what happens.
There's a golden nugget. Hopefully
there's a golden nugget.
That's a little ninja move right there. I know, man. You nailed it. I know. I think that's a great lesson for everybody else too. If put yourself in the shoes of a prospective buyer when you're looking for opportunities. Like, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 Redfin windows open of properties in here in North Dallas, right? So it's just like, and I get frustrated. Like, why the hell aren't there more pictures on here? I know they got some pictures of that. And so that's a great distinction, great point for everybody.
So that's why and then the other thing, kind of circling back to it, is you're posting for a different market. The people that follow your Facebook page that you're posting content to, they're like loyal fans, is how I look at them. I want to give them all the content. They're happy with the Facebook medium. I don't need to track them. I can just present to them, and I have 100% certainty that they're going to use me as an agent. I'm not worried about them going or seeing somebody else's content or information and going to them. So really the trick with using the ad manager and the business manager is to make sure that you're getting the IP address is the big thing. So if you don't have a pixel set up, shoot me an email. I think John has my email on there to shoot it to. But if you don't have a pixel, that's the easiest way to keep track of information from people that won't give you their information.
Tell everybody, for those that might not be crystal clear. We're real big on making sure that we define and everybody understands what the words are, right? So define that for everybody that might not be crystal clear. What is it? What is a Facebook pixel?
So Facebook, I'm sure you saw the government things, whatever. They have an add-on to any website that you have called a Facebook pixel. What it does is, because you're allowing users to navigate away from Facebook onto your own content that you own, Facebook keeps track of what pages that they've viewed coming from Facebook. This is kind of more advanced, but really just the page views is the big one, but you can do button clicks, you could do form fill outs, you could do non-form fill outs. So really if you've seen the click funneling ads, that's what they're using, is a Facebook pixel or a Google AdWords retargeting tag. And it's just a piece of code on your website that lets Facebook and Google know that somebody went there. And it keeps track of their IP address, it keeps track of their session history, et cetera, et cetera.
Gotcha. Very cool. Super easy to set up.
Yes and no. It depends on your website. KV Core actually has a spot where you can put it in. You have to manually input it onto KV Core. I've been experimenting with that. I personally developed my own website, so that way I can have a little bit more control over it. But I think the KV Core is going to work fine for everybody watching. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's a great lesson, because there's a lot of folks that, don't have, the tech wherewithal or interest, like as someone like yourself. So keeping it simple, definitely with KV Core being provided, leveraging that, if that's an option, that's fantastic. Cool. So, continue to keep moving. We can dive through the key bullet points, or if you want to jump into kind of what you were hoping to share with everybody with your screen and kind of walking them through the process. I think that's going to be really, really valuable.
Sure. Let me screen share then. So I'll start with some slides, just that way you guys can get a good idea. If you want these, zacfolsom.com/marketing, you can go there, fill it in. I actually have a recapturing site or recapturing pixel set up on that. So if you don't click through to sign up, I'll shoot an ad at you. So that way you can kind of see what it would be like from a client perspective if you want to. Just don't take advantage of it, because it does cost me money. So anyways.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, yeah. You get a Facebook pixel. I put a whole video on how to install it. There's a clickable link there. And then you can use this Facebook Chrome extension. And this will show you wherever there's a pixel installed on any website that you go to. So you can see what information people are tracking from you. Just kind of a fun thing. So usually what I do, we'll just jump into kind of the process. So I do one ad first that it's called a traffic ad on Facebook. It's a really broad scope. You're trying to get as many people as possible from the area that you're trying to sell a house in interested. Facebook took away all the tools to kind of to automatically target people. Like, you can't target based on age, you can't target based on income anymore, you can't target based on anything. So you have to do a really broad search to begin with to be compliant with federal fair housing. So this just has, you go here, you click the traffic campaign, and then with the ad set, I always do, you have to do 15 miles now. So you have to advertise within 15 miles of where your house is at to be Facebook compliant with HDIC, which I don't really know what that stands for, but it's something about housing.
Play the guidelines that they give you.
Yeah. So the one thing that I would do if I were ever making Facebook ads for people, exclude people that like your page. There's no sense in you paying money for people that like your page to like your content. If you think that it's going to like boost your post to make it look more impressive, it would if you were doing a different thing, but this is just to get people that might not even know they're interested in buying a house to look at your ad.
Perfect.
So then you go here, you do landing page views. What you're paying for is the number of people that click and land on your page. 50 cents is a pretty good cap. I'm averaging like 17 cents right now, and I'll show you guys a copy of that later, depending on where you're going. But if you put 50 cents, basically you can put whatever average cost you want to pay per each lead that lands on your page. So if you wanted to get 150 people to look at your page, you could do 10 cents and pay 15 bucks. And I would never do, so they have, with cost control, they also have lowest cost. What lowest cost does is just going to pull, Facebook's going to try and put your ad first wherever they can. So you're bidding against other people that are advertising for these people's interests on Facebook. So this is like 3 or 4 ads down probably, but it still shows up. You're still getting 1,600 to 2,500 impressions by paying dirt cheap for this starting process. Then what I do is 2 to 3 favorite pictures with no address. So it's compliant because you're not giving away an address. You don't need to put that you're a listing agent on it. That's all on the next page. Zillow does it. Everybody else does it. You're just giving them 1 to 2 pictures. On this ad that I'm running right now, you'll see that what I'm doing is I'm highlighting the school district because it's a good school district. I'm highlighting that there's stainless steel appliances included because everybody wants stainless steel appliances. And then I'm highlighting that there's hardwood floors. I always just do a description. I always do learn more. I don't really try to get around that too much. And it works well on pretty much every platform that Facebook has. So Instagram, the audience network, marketplace ads, messenger ads, everything else. And then again, if you read through the slides, almost every slide is going to mention how important a pixel is. So if you don't have a pixel set up, that's like number 1 homework. So this is a result that I had in 3 Rivers for a $70,000 house. We got an accepted offer 1 day after the campaign completed within 7 days. So we got 364 landing views and an additional 120 from Facebook Marketplace. And all it said was, take a look at this awesome 0% down home in 3 Rivers. So again, you're reaching out to the clients that you want the ad to get. So I was going for people that probably were lower end without targeting lower end buyers.
Gotcha. So that comes back into the copy that you're, that you're being really intentional with the copy that speaks to the specific audience that you're wanting to speak to based upon whatever product you have.
Correct. So let's say that you wanted to work with a ton of first-time home buyers, right? You could do I just got engaged, so I've seen these ads everywhere, so I'll just repeat it. Did you just get engaged? You need to look at this. Right. So you could do the same thing with like a house. Like, are you looking to buy your first home? You should check out this affordable first-time house. No, you're not targeting anything. You can go back to the pixel and use the pixel to do other remarketing too. Like, hey, we're having a first-time home buying seminar. Anybody that clicked on the ad that was, are you a first-time buyer? 9 times out of 10, they're probably a first-time buyer unless they didn't read the ad. So then you can retarget them with a home buyer seminar or something else. So it's getting a lot more in depth than just the ads that I'm running for getting house leads. But the power of having a pixel is you're increasing your captive audience from the people that will agree to like your Facebook page to almost all of Facebook as long as they've clicked to go to your site.
It gives you the power, just like you said, to, I mean, here you go, right here, right, to retarget and build those campaigns. So yeah, dive right in. This is kind of where my mind was going.
Okay, so the retargeting ad, I've only really used Facebook Instant Forms so far, just because they're super easy and people will fill out their information on a Facebook form for dirt cheap. Think of it as the sidebar of Zillow. So what I do is pretty much the same thing. I do 1 to 2 pictures, 1 or 3 pictures, and I just say, interested in getting more information on this home. They've already seen the information on the home. They've already forgotten about it, but they're going to see it, and then they're going to kind of rethink, well, shoot, have I already seen this house? Have I not already seen this house? It looks like something that I've looked at before. Maybe I want more information on it. And then they get a link once they fill out the form to go view it. And then you could also do like a cheap blast. So once you have your initial targeting set up, if you haven't sold the home in the first week or 2, you could do an open house. You already have, like in my case, 364 people that probably would be interested in an open house. And it's pennies on the dollar. I mean, you could, because you're uploading a custom audience to Facebook, they don't have to search, they don't have to do anything. You're basically saying, hey, these people clicked, I want you to just push content in front of them again. So you can do, I've done as low as 5 cents a re-click at that point. So for the open house ad, or I just do an impression, and you can do 1 cent per impression. So you could get it in front of the 364 people. I think the most views I've ever gotten was like 2,500 off of 300 people. So it's getting in front of them again and again and again and again and again.
You could do, like you had mentioned, just giving some creativeness to this as well. You can hit them with, like you said, that home buying, first home buyer seminar, right? To generate some additional, because ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to get to the people that are actually going to buy and do business with you. And so we can hit them with that, right? You could also start layering in some testimonials with your first time home buyers that worked with you, singing your praise of how amazing of an experience and how much you educated them. This was their first home buying experience. You couldn't imagine going through the process with anybody other than Zac Folsom. And so I think there's real power in being able to get this message in front of the people that are the highest, go back to statistics, that are highest probability of doing business with you. And so this is just I know we're going down the rabbit hole here, but it's just you guys the understanding of what you can do once you get this framework in place.
It's exponentially impossible to explain, would be how I would describe it. Facebook has a call now button for mobile ads too. So you show this to 300 people, you then throw up a mobile ad that says, set up a showing, call now. And all they have to do is press a button. It automatically links from Facebook to their phone, and it'll dial your number. It'll fill your number in automatically. So it's the same as a sign, but you're just getting a real estate sign in front of 3,000 people that don't even know that you're the person. And I was listening to a podcast. Frank Kern from Cardone Kern had a really awesome podcast. It's called Is That a TV in Your Pocket? There's a ton of great stats on there about how important online advertising is right now. The stat that they got was 70% of all online shoppers won't buy the first time they see an ad. And for us, that's filling out information. So the first time they see something, they're probably going to scroll past it. If they click on something to get information on it, they're not going to fill out the form to contact you. They're going to have to be constantly reminded that there's a house for sale in their area, and they showed enough interest in it to click on the link.
That sounds like a current topic. Is that a TV in your pocket?
I know. Yeah, that was a good podcast. Something like 10,000 ads a day is the normal viewing for people. You see 10,000 ads a day. So if you're putting one ad out there and expecting people to click up and sign it for one specific house, it's probably not enough. because they've probably looked at 10 to 5 or 10 to 15 other houses already that day.
If you guys are really, really serious about this, and you should be, Frank's the godfather. And, we've had the opportunity to work with Frank for the last decade. And, Michael, I think Michael's in his high-level mastermind along, with the likes of Ryan Stewman and, all the greats. And you gotta think too, it's, he moved in the same building, living in the same building with Grant Cardone, Cardone Kern, right? Yeah. Together. So you definitely want to be paying attention, and he is the source, right? You want to go, for all of us, we want to go to the source, and he's the godfather. So if you're really serious about this, pay attention to all of Frank's stuff, listen to all of his podcasts, jump on YouTube. There's tons and tons of content that he puts out. And if you want to really understand this at a deeper level, he's a tremendous resource.
Yeah. No, he's, I would say, probably one of the top people. So next, what you're going to do is set up your custom audience. This is in Facebook Ad Manager. You're just going to do people that have visited your web page in the past blank days. And then you put down the exact web page that you have. For KV Core, you do the same thing. Just go to the web page on your KV Core, copy it, paste it into there. And as long as you have the pixel set up on KV Core, you'll know if people clicked and landed on that page.
Is there have you found, is there an easy training tutorial within KV Core to be able to how to set that up?
Not really. I could probably do a YouTube video on it or something. You go to Facebook, you make a business manager, you click install the code yourself. You go to KV Core, there's a section that says Facebook pixel code. You Perfect. Copy and paste. So it's, I think the harder part's going to be setting up a Facebook ads manager, because it's a really detailed platform.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So then you use the custom audience for a new list. So you take them. So for example, I also have an Arthur. So like one of the houses I had, Arthur, no sign up. This is actually one that I just double dipped from somebody that called through and specifically mentioned a Facebook ad. So they didn't fill out a form, but because of the way that my website was set up, this, that, and the other thing, he called directly from my website to contact me. And we walked through the house and he wrote an offer the first time that I showed it to him. He was out of the market for 2.5 months before he said he saw the house 8 times. His grandma saw the house 4 times, and they just kept seeing it everywhere, and he couldn't get it out of his head. So he set up a showing, which that was like the best thing ever. And then what I do is a Facebook instant form. So what you can see, I actually have a separate Facebook page that I manage called First Look Home Southwest Michigan. Basically what it is it doesn't look like a real estate agent page. It just looks like a general home buying page. And then I put in there, you want access to this home, fill out the form. So it's more or less a Zillow platform at that point, where it looks like it's a third-party source just giving away house information. Then they put in their name, phone number, email, click next. You can import these into KV Core. You could input them into any CRM. Facebook gives you a CSV file of all the leads that fill stuff out. Mm-hmm. So this was my best performing ad based off of this picture. So I took this picture, used that copy, used this sign up. It was a different form because it's hard to redo Facebook forms, like they delete them or something. So I couldn't do the same form for it, but I ended up getting. Go back
real quick. I want everybody to. It's kind of hard to see. Read the copy, and then why did you choose that particular picture?
So kitchens. I think kitchens help a lot. So fantastic fixer upper opportunity in Grand Rapids, $30K under fixed up value, which I'm working with an investor on this one. And if he fixes it up, we're listing it for $30K more. He just didn't have the time to do it. So that's how I came up with the ad content on there. And then check this home out, do a little, save a lot. And then just so that way they're not confused, I do first look dot the website that you're actually using. So if you're whatever website that they're going to, I just do like it's a subdomain in front of it that's made up. You can do that on Facebook ads, then the actual domain, then the last. So that way, if they go to, in my case, zacfolsom.com, they're not like, oh man, I thought this was First Look Homes, blah, 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 blah.
Got it.
So yeah.
Great little point.
Yep. So that's how this one performed. I actually did a split test on this. So another powerful tool, you can see what content performs better. This was the third one that I did with a kitchen. So the kitchens have been performing the best. You'll get a lead cheaper for a kitchen ad than any other picture. The front of
give a little context to split test, right? You know, I think a lot of people, test, they'll change the whole ad versus just change the dang picture, leave everything else the same. But speak a little context to split testing and what you're looking for in different types of tests as well.
So I think the big thing with Facebook especially is you can never get too much data. Everybody that's doing well with Facebook advertising is collecting as much data as possible. If you don't know, like, do a split test, you can do a split test for almost anything about the ad, the times that it's showing, the website that it goes to, the pictures, the copy, anything that you want to. And if you're not understanding how buyers in your area are reacting to your ads, you need to start doing split tests. And you need to change 1 to 2 things. I'm not sure if anybody remembers high school, but in like chemistry and biology class, whenever you're doing a science experiment, you go through the exact same step, like growing beans, bean plants. I remember this from like 6th grade. We had one that was just water. We had one we put chicken stock in because, yeah, it smelled disgusting, but you put chicken stock in. Then you had one where you like put barbecue sauce in. Then you did one that was half chicken stock, half water, and you watched the beans grow up. And that's kind of what you're doing with the split test is you're changing one variable about your ad to see what's going to cost the least, what's going to net you the most number of leads for the lowest cost. So
what have you seen to be the most, where you want to start on the split test? Do you want to, you start with the headline? Do you start with the picture? For you, what have you seen to where you want to always start first on the split tests?
So the current split test that I'm running is actually on the platform. So you're allowed to switch on. I have one that's going right now on instant experiences in regular Facebook feed. I have one that's going on Marketplace Messenger in Facebook feed, and then one on Instagram. So it's in 3 separate tests to test for that, just to see which platform is getting the highest click-through rates. And did that change my screen or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is what I'm running right now. This split test right here. So as of yesterday, I've had 153 landing views in front of 77 people, and I've spent $27. So
what platform is that on?
That's spread throughout all of them.
All 3? Okay.
Yes. Let me just go to the ads. That way I can pull them up. So Instagram's performing the worst, which I'm not super surprised with. I feel like Instagram's very hard, and there's a copy of what the ad looks like. Facebook has these really awesome like plugins to make videos for. So I would say do that. The audience network, which I thought was going to be a little bit better, actually isn't. It's performing at 19 cents a click right now. So I've had 54 landing views for 800 people reached. The one that's working the best right now is Messenger, the regular Facebook pages, and Marketplace. So that's where, and it's the same ad for all of them. So as you can see, I'm testing one subject, which is just which platform am I getting the most click-throughs on. So I have this listing, and what I'm going to do after this is do the form fill out, and I'm going to promote an open house for Halloween with all the people that have clicked through here. Yeah. So that would be probably the first test that I do. I probably did it out of order, but I would do which audiences, where are people clicking through for the lowest dollar amount on all of your platforms. So I'd test between the messenger platforms, marketplace platforms, and instant articles and Facebook audience network. So if you're ever playing like a game on your phone, sometimes the ads that come up are from Facebook. So I'm sure there's certain people that have clicked on the link from like an app, and I allow it to be like a paid reward is what they're called. So basically Facebook's taking the amount of money that I said I'd pay and giving it to somebody to get an extra life on Candy Crush. But they see the house.
Right.
Yeah. And then this is an example of the page that I have. So I've got for sale. This is for this exact listing. Set up the showing. So if you're on mobile, this will actually show up like the first button after for sale is call now, set up a showing. Then it goes through the description, then the list price, and then questions, email them. Then they see the pictures. So they have to scroll down through all the information through 2 buttons to get to pictures. And then map and everything else. Working on a video for this so that way I can do some YouTube advertising, but that's really different. That would be like a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a different. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole just yet.
Yeah. So anyways, this was my one lead form up in Grand Rapids that I used this process on. I ended up paying $1.59 per acquisition. Plus, I think I spent $20 on getting the initial click-throughs. So if you want to divide 20 by 26 and add that on, it's still under $2 a lead.
Cool.
Yeah. And then just so everybody knows, like they're going to be nurture leads. These are KV Core leads. These are Boomtown leads. These are people that don't know that they're really looking yet. Your goal is the more that people keep looking through them, you want their information, 10% of them will buy. From my experience, I've had several listings where the buying agent or the buyer has mentioned, I saw this on Facebook. I saw this house everywhere. I bought the house because of this. And I've gotten 2 double dip deals out of the same thing. So far this year, well, 3 double dip deals out of it, but one of them wasn't directly from Facebook. They were kind of a different, like Facebook Messenger. So the timeline that I do, you take a signed contract. So, and if you know you're going to get the listing before the signed contract, I do it ahead of time. Facebook takes forever to approve housing ads now because they have to go and review everything. So as soon as you get the signed contract, you put up an ad regarding the home coming up in the area.
Speak to that a little bit. I know running some ads for the office up in Lawton, and man, sometimes it gets kicked back. Is there some things to really pay attention to where you'll get those approved and to speed up that process?
The only way to speed it up is to work with somebody that has a rep. So you need to have a Facebook account manager / representative in order to speed it up. I think the minimum spend is like $10K a month. So yeah.
For most people, that's not feasible. So
right. So you can't speed it up too much. The big thing that I would say is be very federal fair housing friendly.
Okay.
Don't try and cheat the system. Make sure that you mark that it's a housing ad if it's a housing ad. So the things that I've gotten kicked back the most is when I haven't clicked this is a housing ad. So as long as you're trying to sell a house or working to sell a house, it's easier to just click this is a housing ad and Facebook will approve it.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks for sharing that, because that can be really frustrating for a lot of people that are not, as savvy.
Right. Yeah.
With the process.
So then 0 days on market, I posted on my Facebook page, Marketplace, and Instagram with the pixel link. So this is direct traffic. If you're big into like Bitly to figure out like how many people clicked from this one or this one, you can add some codes on the back of your tag to figure out where most of your traffic's coming from. And you can look on Google Analytics to see just how many people have gone through. So if you have like it's called a UTM. If you Google it, Google will show you how to make a UTM. It can just be like Facebook page, Zac Folsom Realtor, this post, like the name of the house. If you're interested in getting that deep, I don't think you really need to. I think you can honestly just have, if somebody clicked to look at that page, they probably should get information. And even if somebody clicked from your own regular post, that's when I would start retargeting them. I just wouldn't pay money to get it in front of them the first time.
Okay.
Then after 100 clicks, I start running a retargeting campaign. So I don't think it makes sense for less than 100 clicks. Facebook will say, oh, you have less than 1,000 people in this audience group. We're not sure if we're going to be able to make it work. It usually works. I've never run into an issue, with Facebook saying, no, we can't actually do that.
Perfect.
Then 15 days on market. If the house hasn't sold by then, which if it's priced right and it's not a detriment to fix up, I haven't had anything last longer than 15 days with this method, just because it's been getting in front of so many people. But some houses that have been kind of gross looking, and some of them that we priced intentionally a little high because of seller needs, they haven't sold within 15 days. But we've usually gotten some type of activity, average days on market, with an offer from them. So then I do a second ad about the house or an open house or some event with the home. And then the three biggest things that I run Facebook ads for is to capture the IP information of people looking to buy in your area. That's number one. I want as much information on people that are interested in housing in my community, in my sales areas as possible. I think it boosts the speeds of listings sold, and it's a really good tactic for sellers to, I guess, not to make them think, but to show them that you're actually spending more money than other agents would, and you're getting the house out in front of more people than they could even fathom. I sent the Kings one over, the one that I just showed you with 2,000 clicks. This is the second time that I've showed them that I've gotten the home in front of 2,000 people. And they're like, oh, wow, 2,000 people in Battle Creek. The audience size is 46,000. So they're pretty impressed that it's getting out in front of them so often, and that we've gotten 130. The other thing is, you pitch it as, yeah, now what I'm doing is I'm working to follow up with the 133 or 150 people that have expressed interest specifically in your house. If they clicked on the link, they're specifically expressing interest on the house. It's a fantastic listing pitch. And then my last one is that you get buyer information for 97% cheaper than Zillow. I just, yeah. I did that based off of my $2 lead acquisition in a Zillow $65 area. At the time when I was running the ad, Zillow was $65 a lead. I got it for $2. So that's how that math works out. I'm sure Texas is going to be, especially if you've got a whole bunch of new builds going, new construction, it's going to be like $480 a Zillow lead or something.
Yeah.
Outrageous, like
outrageous.
that.
And
yeah.
For all of you guys getting ready for, kind of thinking through marketing strategies moving into 2020 and beyond, and you're looking at your budget allocation, it'd be hard to find a strategy to compete with this.
Yeah. And it's like you mentioned way earlier, the reason that I've invested so much time and money into this is that you're not paying for their information once. You're paying for their information for any promotion that you want to run. If anybody lands on any of the pages, which the reason I make my own website is because I can separate out how I want the pages to look, where I want them to go. So instead of having like a traditional IDX website, I have more informative clicks. So like, I'll show you guys. Basically, if you go properties and then like buying, instead of having an IDX website, it's got more information about me, about what I do for my clients, and then like tools that they can use that I use to get them a good home. So like off-market homes, learn more. So then they can search through, and I know based on the way that I set my website up, if they're clicking through and they're looking at off-market homes, then they don't fill out the form to find an off-market home, I could advertise to them on Facebook, Google, anywhere that I want to about getting an off-market home. So then
goes back to the copy that will get the attention for the specific audience. So hopefully you guys caught that from earlier for what Zac was sharing. and you tailor your message. It's the message to market match, right? And he's just bringing them down into exactly getting crystal clear on who they are, so he knows how to communicate with them. And it's fantastic.
And I think another good stat for everybody, people will generally research 2 to 3. This is another Kern from that same podcast. They're going to research 2 to 3 pages before they buy something. So if you only have information about a house that you're sending to them, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be persuaded to work with you as an agent just from seeing that. So if you wanted to get more buyer leads and do this, that, and the other thing, you'd want to get in front of them other ways. And the other thing is, once you upload a custom list, let me see if I can pull that up. So I paid for some geo leads, and I ran a campaign just to get in front of the geo leads with an instant experience. And you can run like a retention. Oh, that's why it ended a long time ago. Don't worry. I did actually do it. I see so many people out there that are like, I'm the Facebook guru. I know how to do all this stuff, but I feel like they've never done it. So I had 1,000 people that I paid for geo leads for, and there's a 60% recall. And I paid $1 per recall amount. So I reached 381 people, spent $50 to get 60 people that would recall my ad. And Facebook does way better at gauging this type of stuff than you or I ever could, because they've got so much data to pull it on. And this was just to give you guys like an idea of what it is. You can make an instant experience with Facebook on a mobile feed, which is super cool if you're trying to get a ton of information. So I took a listing that I sold for $0. And let me see if I can go to, okay, it's not letting me show you how to do the instant experience, because I don't know why it locks you out so quick as soon as the ad's over.
Just explain what it is. I think that'll be really,
okay,
really helpful for everybody.
So Facebook, instead of taking them to a different web page, Facebook can set up a web page in the browser. It's not really a web page. It has links to go to everything. It has a form that they can fill out. It's basically, if you wanted to get them to understand your brand better without sending them to a different page and risking a bounce. So basically there's bounce rates. If you want them to experience what you have to offer as quickly as possible, you'd want an instant experience. So on this one, I had like 0 days in full price. Marketing homes without, I think I did like marketing homes without Zillow. Like something really big, something really catchy. They're like, oh my gosh, this realtor doesn't use Zillow. What's he thinking? And then I kind of walked them through like, so what I do is I do this, then I do this, then I do that. If you're interested in more information, here's a link, click here. And then I got, I think I got 200 click-throughs on that.
Is that copy, or did you shoot a video? How did you do to articulate that message?
So the Facebook instant form, you pick between like 2 to 4 different templates. It's super easy. You upload pictures that you want in there, and it's almost like a web page. It's like Wix or Squarespace. You drag and drop, you change the words, and Facebook puts it up for you. Same with the ad that you guys saw where the pictures were moving. That's a Facebook template. I don't spend a ton of time or a ton of energy working on specifics for that, because Facebook has templates, and whatever Facebook's using probably works. That's just my mindset.
Love it. Matt was asking, hey, for you guys listening in, if you're listening to us live, man, throw in the chat if this is if you guys are finding this extremely valuable, really helpful. If you're watching the live feed on Facebook, make sure you guys give Zac some love. My man has even got the EXP suit on today, looking mighty dapper. I will say.
Thank you.
But yeah, you guys give some love. Matt was asking, are you utilizing or using ClickFunnels for anything that you're doing?
This would be pretty much all ClickFunnels, but it's not through ClickFunnels. Cause that's like a brand or something where people,
Right.
yeah, no, I'm doing all of this internally. So it's all, I think what ClickFunnels does is very similar to what I would be doing running this. They just judge the web pages that you're clicking on, and then they know which web pages you're clicking on. Um, if you're interested in seeing like a live example, so I made this landing page for anybody that's interested in getting a copy of the slides. So the way that ClickFunnels would work is, oh, Facebook ads that actually work, blah, 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 blah. You put a ton of buttons on there. So if somebody goes to this page, but they don't go to the next page, I know that they're interested enough that I might be able to get their information without getting their information. But then if they click to this page, it'll come up as, you're one step away from getting a copy, blah, 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 blah. You put your name, this in, and if you click on the form, my pixel lets me know that you clicked on the form. If you don't click on the form, I don't know that it shows that you didn't click on the form. So I just have this. Then once you fill it out, it goes to a redirection page. So I'll do it real quick.
Yeah, and the power with that, guys, is that what he can do is that he can tailor his message back to it, right? You landed on it, but you didn't click it. What happened, right? Hey, did you forget to hit the send button? Did you forget to hit your information right? He can speak to whatever your action was.
And then, so this it automatically emails out the form to them too. So like if you filled this out, you'd get a PDF. And then I bring them to something like this, where it's like exclusive content engage. So this is to go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff, a little thing, then some blog posts, and then copies of some of the houses that I have listed right now. So that's the big reason behind it. And I'm starting to integrate a lot more call buttons on there, because 80%, which get Google Analytics on your site too. Google Analytics will tell you everything about your site that you don't even want to know that you want to know until you know it. So I know 83% of my consumers that use my site are mobile. So on my homepage, I just got done redoing this just to make sure. So on all my listing signs, on everything, the biggest thing that you can see is zacfolsom.com, because I want people to go to my website. I know if they're going to my website, they're interested enough. So the first thing is this the house that you were looking for? These are all my active listings. They're either pending or active. And then call now. And if you click this, so it's opening in FaceTime, but it would also open like just my phone number in your phone if you clicked on it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So we're coming up on the top of the hour here. Been fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Thanks Dan, giving some love for sure. I want to make sure that we wrap up, and any other questions. Don does have a question. Running ads like home, 300K and under. What are I guess give some Don can maybe give a little more context, but really for you, just kind of recap the type of ads that you're really focused on running right now.
So I have not run anything that's not my own listing. The only ads that I have been running that have gotten a ton of success are my own listings. What I'm running is, if you could imagine it as you don't know that you want a bicycle yet. So you're on Facebook, all of a sudden you see a bicycle. You click on it and they're like, oh yeah, so this is the best bike ever, blah, 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 blah. You scroll through and you go, okay, I don't need that bicycle. Then you keep seeing it, you keep seeing it, you keep seeing it. Eventually you're interested in it, and then you fill out a request. I want to go see somebody about the price of this bicycle. Those are the types of ads that I'm running with houses. Is I have this listing. I do one where it's not even listed yet. I just say, hey, there's a new listing coming up on the market. If you're interested in getting some pre-listing information on it, go here. Then I do, hey, we've got this information on the home. Are you interested in signing up to get the updated information, more or less? is how the second ad comes off, I'm sure, in the consumer's mind. So then they fill out a form, and you're paying like $1 for these leads, $1 to $2, because you already have the information. Facebook's not trying to target them, et cetera, et cetera. If you wanted to, you could skip step one, not retarget, and just try and get people to enter information to get a link to a listing. I'm sure it would work, but I don't think it'd be as effective, because then you're only getting 26 people that might be interested in the home as opposed to 150, 200. So that would be, especially 300K and under. I think the retargeting, I haven't gotten a listing yet that's like 500K, 600K. I think it'd be more effective in those situations, to be frank, because you're working with a smaller buyer pool. You're only going to capture the information of people that are actually serious when you're retargeting.
Great. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
What I know, what little call to action for everybody here that wants some more information or wants to connect with you. What do you got for them?
Send an email to marketing@zacfolsom.com. You can go to zacfolsom.com/marketing, get the slide, and then get my information and everything there too. Follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page. You can add me as a friend, Zac Folsom, or you could like Zac Folsom Realtor. Instagram is the Zac Folsom, and I'm not YouTube famous enough to have my own YouTube, so just go to a page and find the YouTube there.
No, man, it's definitely appreciate you taking the time, jumping on, sharing, and man, and obviously he's in the HBN, right? So he's part of the Honey Badger Nation, so you can definitely connect with him there as well. So Zac, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time, jumping on, adding value, being a true expert mentor. And for all of you guys listening in, listen to the recording, please make sure you guys give Zac some love, and definitely hit him up if you've got questions. Just like a lot of the other badass honey badgers we have, there's a ton of information and resource. But what's even cooler than that is that they love to share and give back, and Zac's no different. So appreciate you guys, and Zac, thank you.
Thanks, John.